You ever see a fighter who just feels different? Like the moment they walk out, before they even throw a punch, you can sense something in the air. That quiet confidence, that killer energy that makes the crowd hold its breath. That's Ilia Topuria right now. This kid shows up like he's carrying destiny on his shoulders, knocking out dudes like it's just another day at the office, talking like he was born to rule this game. And for a while, man, it's easy to believe it. The power, the precision, the swagger, it's all there. But that's the thing about this sport. It doesn't care about your hype. It doesn't care about how clean your record looks or how many followers you've got on Instagram. This is fighting. It's raw, it's real, it's unforgiving, and eventually everyone meets that one night that changes everything. So tonight, we're diving deep into the rise, the myth, and the truth behind Ilia Topuria, the kid who might be the next big thing, or just another name the fight gods see to remind us that no one is untouchable. Buckle up, because this one's going to get real. Man, when you talk about Ilia Topuria, you got to understand, this dude didn't just climb the ranks, he erupted through them. Like 1 minute, nobody even knew who this kid from Spain with Georgian roots was, and the next, he's starching guys left and right, walking around with that look in his eyes like he already knows he's the future. It's wild, man. You watch his early fights. The composure, the precision, the power, it's all there. He's not in a rush. He's not sloppy. He moves like someone who's been in there 100 times before. Every punch is thrown with bad intentions. Every moment feels calculated. And that's what makes it so insane. The confidence didn't come after the wins. It was there from the start, baked into his DNA. You could see it in the way he carried himself, the way he'd talk in interviews like he was already the best, featherweight on the planet, even before he had a number next to his name. And then he starts knocking out dudes that no one's ever slept like that before. And suddenly the crowd, the media, the fans, they all start buying in. The UFC machine kicks in, the cameras start rolling, the highlights go viral, and before you know it, Ilia Topuria isn't just another contender. He's the guy, the chosen one, the new face of destruction. And the thing is, man, when you rise that fast, when you start stacking wins and your name starts echoing across every platform, it creates this illusion of invincibility. People stop questioning what's underneath all that shine. Nobody talks about how young he is, how little we've actually seen him under real fire, because the knockouts, the swagger, the confidence, it's hypnotic. It blinds people. You start to think, yeah, maybe this dude is untouchable, but that's the trap, right? That's how hype works. It builds this perfect picture that can shatter the moment someone cracks it. And that's where things start to get real. Because for every meteoric rise in this game, there's always that point where the hype meets the truth. And that's when we find out whether the storm was as powerful as it looked, or if it was all just smoke. And that's the crazy part, man. The hype. It's like this unstoppable wave once it starts rolling. And with Ilia, that wave got huge real quick. You knock a few guys out, you talk a little slick, you carry yourself like a king, and suddenly the whole world's convinced you're the next messiah of the fight game. And don't get me wrong, Topuria earned a lot of that attention. The dude can fight. He's got scary accuracy, real killer instincts. But the thing about hype is, it doesn't care about context. It doesn't care who you've actually fought. It just feeds off the spectacle. People see knockouts and highlight reels, and they start building this myth in their heads that this guy is untouchable, that no one can hang with him, and that's when it gets dangerous. Because the reality of this sport, man, it's cold, it's unforgiving. Styles make fights, and no matter how good you look smashing through guys that play into your strengths, there's always someone out there whose style is a nightmare for you. And that's where hype and reality start to split apart, because the highlight version of a fighter doesn't show the moments where they got clipped or taken down or looked human for a second. It's like everyone wants to believe the story more than the facts. And with Topuria, that story's been written in bold letters. The undefeated phenom, the next pound-for-pound great, the new era. But you got to ask yourself, how many truly elite guys has he faced? Has he been dragged into the trenches yet? Has he been forced to adjust when the plan doesn't work? Because so far, everything's gone his way, and that's where the illusion builds. When everything clicks, everyone looks invincible. But the reality check is coming, man. It always does. You see, can't live in the highlight reel forever. Eventually, someone's going to test that gas tank, that composure, that heart, and when that happens, the hype can't help you. That's the beauty and the brutality of MMA. It's the great equalizer. You can have all the fans, all the cameras, all the swagger in the world, but once that cage door closes, it's just you, your skills, and your truth. And that's where the difference between hype and reality becomes undeniable. And that's where the ego starts to creep in, man. It's subtle at first, just that feeling of being special, being different, being chosen. You start believing that maybe you really are untouchable, that maybe the rules don't apply to you the same way they do to everyone else. And with Ilia, you can see that energy all over him. He walks like it, talks like it, carries that air of destiny around him. It's confidence, yeah, but there's this fine line between confidence and overconfidence, and in fighting, that line is razor thin. Because when you're young, undefeated, and the whole world is screaming your name, it's almost impossible not to start drinking your own Kool-Aid. You start thinking every punch you throw is going to land, that every fight is already written in your favor. You stop respecting the danger, the chaos, the unpredictability that makes this sport so wild. And that's where ego becomes your biggest opponent, not the guy standing across from you, but that little voice inside your head telling you you're too good to lose, too skilled to struggle. You can see it in the way Topuria reacts sometimes. When someone dares to doubt him, when people question his resume, he gets emotional. He takes it personally, like he's fighting for validation instead of evolution. And that's a dangerous mindset, man, because the octagon doesn't care about feelings or pride. It humbles everyone eventually. You can talk all you want. You can walk around with a crown on your head, but once someone pushes you into deep W-aters, that ego becomes an anchor. You start realizing that greatness isn't built on swagger. It's built on surviving hell and coming out sharper. And look, Ilia's got all the tools. He's got the power, the timing, the confidence. But the question is, does he have the humility to adapt when things go wrong? Because ego doesn't let you admit when you're slipping. It blinds you to the small details, the things that could save you later. And in this game, man, those details are everything. The ego will tell you you're unstoppable. The fight will tell you the truth. And when that truth hits, it doesn't care how many followers you have or how loud your fans cheer. It just exposes who you really are under all that shine. And that's the thing, man. When you strip away all the hype and all the confidence, you start to notice these little things, these tiny moments where the mask slips. And that's where the hidden flaws live. Every fighter has them, no matter how good they look. And with Ilia, you can see glimpses of it if you watch close enough. He's explosive, yeah, but sometimes he loads up too much on his shots. He chases that knockout a little too eagerly, and that leaves openings, little defensive lapses that the right fighter could exploit. You can see it when he gets touched. He doesn't like it. He's emotional, man. He fights with pride, and pride is both his engine and his weakness. Because when he gets tagged, he doesn't reset. He bites down on his mouthpiece and swings harder, like he's trying to prove something right there in the moment. That's not strategy, that's emotion. And that's where cracks start to show. There are also questions about that gas tank. We haven't really seen him in a long, grinding fight where things slow down, where you have to dig deep and fight smart instead of just hard. So what happens if someone drags him into round 4 or 5, forces him to wrestle, makes him defend takedowns over and over again? That's when all the power and swagger in the world don't matter if your lungs are on fire. And then there's his composure. He's confident when he's in control, but how does he react when he's losing, when someone doesn't fold? Because the greats, the real greats, they stay calm in chaos. They don't chase the knockout, they build it. Ilia's still young, still learning, and sometimes that youth shows. He drops his hands mid-combo, he overextends, he gets reckless when he smells blood. It's beautiful when it works, but it's dangerous when it doesn't. That's the double-edged sword of being a finisher. You live by the knockout, you die by the counter, and the scary part is, most people haven't been good enough to make him pay for those mistakes yet. But that doesn't mean they're not there. It just means the right opponent hasn't pulled them out into the light. And when that guy shows up, man, that's when the illusion of perfection starts to crumble. And all those hidden flaws start screaming for attention. And that's what makes this next part so fascinating, man. Because no matter how talented you are, no matter how fast you rise, this sport always finds a way to test you. And that's the reality check that's waiting for Ilia. It's coming. It always does. You can't run from it. You can't talk your way around it. It's inevitable. Every great fighter, every superstar, they all hit that wall where the universe just says, all right, kid, let's see what you're really made of. And for Ilia, that moment's creeping closer with every win, every knockout, every new headline calling him the next big thing. Because the higher you climb, the smaller the margin for error gets, and the guys you're facing aren't intimidated anymore. They're motivated. They're studying you, breaking you down, seeing those tiny holes you didn't even know existed. And one of these days, he's going to meet that fighter who just doesn't care about his hype, who doesn't freeze under the pressure, who doesn't fold when the power shots land. Someone who drags him into a dogfight, makes him uncomfortable, forces him to think, to adapt, to fight through exhaustion and doubt. That's the reality check, man. It's not a loss. It's that moment where the game punches back. And when it does, it changes everything. Some fighters break under it, some evolve. You look at the legends. They've all been through it. They've all had that night where they were supposed to dominate, and instead they got humbled, they got pushed to the brink, and that's what turned them into monsters later. Ilia hasn't had that yet. Everything's been smooth, everything's gone according to script, but fighting doesn't care about scripts. It's chaos wrapped in discipline, and one night, that chaos is going to land clean. Maybe it's a wrestler who smothers him, maybe it's a veteran who walks through his shots, maybe it's a striker who times his aggression perfectly, but it's coming. And when it does, that's when we'll see who he really is beyond the highlight. Reels, beyond the bravado, beyond the undefeated record. Because the truth about fighting, man, is that greatness isn't proven when you're winning easily. It's proven when you've been stripped of all your comfort, all your confidence, and you still find a way to fight back when reality finally punches you in the mouth. And at the end of the day, man, that's what makes this whole Ilia Topuria story so damn intriguing. It's the mystery, the unknown. You've got this young, explosive, undefeated kid who looks like he was built for war, walking around like he's already written his legacy, and maybe he really is that good. Maybe he's the one who's going to take this sport into the next era and make us all look stupid for ever doubting him, but maybe not, because that's the beautiful chaos of fighting. It's not a movie, it's not scripted, and it doesn't care who the favorite is. One bad night, one wrong move, one perfectly timed shot, and everything you thought you knew changes in an eye. Instant. That's why we watch, man. That's why this sport pulls us in, because it's real. It's raw. It's unpredictable. Ilia might rise higher, he might stumble, but either way, we're going to witness something unforgettable. So whatever happens next, I hope he keeps that fire, that belief, but also that respect for the game, because this sport humbles everyone eventually, and that humility is what shapes the real legends. So good luck to the kid, truly. Keep doing what you do, keep proving people wrong, keep chasing that greatness, but never forget the fight gods don't play favorites. They reward the ones who stay grounded, who keep evolving, who fight with heart and not just hype. And to everyone watching, man, thank you for being part of this crazy ride, because this is what it's all about, watching greatness being tested, watching truth unfold inside that cage. It's beautiful, it's brutal, it's real, and I can't wait to see what happens next.